for six. What a shot that is.
Alright, so this is another episode of The Yorker. I'll be covering Rajshahi Kings. They're called Duronto Rajshahi in the first two seasons, and now they're known as the Kings. They've always flown under the radar, but I'd say they've punched above their weight. This happened in 2016, where they're actually the runners-up, led by Darren Sammy, and that was a spectacular team. There are a couple of characters in there. There was Sabir, who got 100 in that series. There was also Opu, who invented his snake dance, I believe, in that tournament. So they're coached by Lance Klusner this time around, and the players they've retained are Mominul Haq, Zakir Hassan, Miraz, Mustafizur Rahman, and Mohamed Sami. And for their first draft, they went with Shomo Sharkar, and he'll have a lot to prove as well, because he, along with Shabir Rahman, they're actually demoted from A plus to A minus, or even lower than that, so they're not going to get as much money as the others. I think that's an insult, so they have a lot to prove by really putting in good performances in there. Also, the DRS will be used for the first time in this BPL, and I think guys like Mustafiz will be a nightmare with that, because they're going to go for those LBW appeals. As for the strength and weaknesses, for the weaknesses, I would say they have too many all-rounders. They do have good bench strength, but just too many all-rounders. The two Sri Lankan guys they have, Isuru Udana, then Prasanna. I don't rate them that. I think there are other Sri Lankan players who are better than them in the national side, but they have gotten those chances before in the national team, and they could benefit from the coaching, and if they can get their chances. I don't have them in the 11, but we'll talk about the 11, but if they do get their chances, they'll make it count. But other than that, the bench strength is not really good. They also have Dollar Mahmood. We haven't heard from that guy in a while. And there's also Gamrul Islam Rabbi, who played a few tests, but never was a really good ODI or even T20 prospect. Players to watch out for, I think you'll know this one, of course, Zakir Hassan. He's one of those guys whose names have been making the round. Not as good as a wicketkeeper as Liton, but good enough while still being able to bat really well. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I think we're going to see this guy in the national team. And if he can do a good job in this BPL, it's only going to help his case. It's going to expedite his chances coming into the national team. And foreign players to watch out for is Kais Ahmed. He was actually one of the pre-draft guys they got, along with Christian Jonker. For Jonker, he's a amazing batsman from South African team. He played a couple of leagues in South Africa and also represented the South African national team. He's got a strike rate of 180 plus. That's close to figures like Andre Russell. So he's in my 11. And Kais Ahmed is another one of those Afghanistan leg spinners. I know my co-hosts here covered some other spinners from Afghanistan, and he's another name, leg spinner, leg break, and they spend money for him, so they'll be looking to, get a good performance out of him. So let's go into the final 11. I have Shomo Sharkar opening with Marshall Ayub. Marshall Ayub is one of those guys who've been in the domestics for a long time, and I always like his technique. I don't watch tests all that much myself, but I did watch the test and when Ayub played, and I did like his technique. So maybe he can do a Shea Hope and then translate his skills from first class to T20. After that, I have Mominul Haq. Again, another test guy. And maybe that's not the best thing for T20. But these guys have technique, and you never know. If all you need is technique, and if you can go in with confidence, you can hit the opposition. After that, I'll put in Zakir Hassan, best wicketkeeper batsman in the country, in my opinion. Second to Mushfiqur Rahim. After that, I'll put Ryan ten Doschate, the greatest ever Dutch batsman, very experienced. I think if you put him in there, he's another foreign player. After that, I'll put Muhammad Hafiz. He was a late inclusion, but a good all-rounder and has a lot of experience too. After that, I'll put in Jonker, followed by Miraz, then Mustafizur Rahman. After that, Alauddin Babu, and Kais Ahmed. Alauddin Babu, it's once upon a time I used to hear Mukhtar Ali, Alauddin Babu, and Mustafizur Rahman, their names together, but then they all dispersed in different directions. So I guess he'll be a filler, Alauddin Babu, but he should make his chances count, that he's getting a chance to play in this team. And Miraz, we all know, is not the best T20 player, but since he's going to be part of our national squad for a long time, he might as well make it count. And again, this team will go under the radar, I feel. So it's no pressure on them. That actually works to their advantage if they all come together. They do lack a leader, so it's very interesting. Rajshahi King is the only team I couldn't find a captain for, so I don't really know who are they gonna give the keys to. It could be Mohammad Hafiz, could be even Mustafiz or Rahman. So we'll see. I think they're definitely making the playoffs. People always count them out. I think they're going to punch above their weight all again. I don't know if they're going to win the finals. I think some of the other teams my co-host covered, I think they're going to win it. So I don't think they'll win the finals, but I think they're making the playoffs. And yeah, that's all I had for Match Kings. Did you guys have any comments or any questions?
Uh, I was just gonna say, I think one a key player I would like to see in the lineup is probably Arafat Sani. He's probably one of the better spinners we have in the shorter format. I know he sort of disappeared from the national scene, but I think he's still a very effective bowler, and we are still lacking that one consistent frontline spinner for our national team. So he's probably someone that still has a bit of a shot of coming back. So I probably want to see him at some point.
Right.
But yeah, I do agree with most of your
And I think
lineup.
one more local player, I think it could be a captain, is Shahriar Nafis. So he's in the team, he's in the squad, I see. So he might get a
Yeah.
chance. And looking at this team, I don't think Mustafiz will be the captain because he doesn't have any experience in captaincy at all.
He doesn't.
So either Hafiz, Muhammad Hafiz, I think, or Shummo did captain a couple of the A team. And so either Hafiz or Shahriar Nafis or Shummo Shorka. So I think that's why Shahriar Nafis might get the nod.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I definitely agree. And yeah, I agree about Sony as well, actually. It's just that since we have three spinners with Miraz, Kais Ahmed, and Mohammad Hafiz, I think that's an overkill for the spin. But if Sonny gets a shot, of course, he should try to challenge some of the other spinners we have in the national team, like Opu, and make a good name for himself. So,
Yeah.